Hello everyone, I welcome you all to day 2 of Chandigarh Speech and Debating League training. Today we are going to discuss in-depth training for WSDC, but yes, this is the tournament that you're participating in. It's called Chandigarh Speech and Debating League. To reiterate, the training for today is going to be for WSDC, how you're supposed to structure your speeches, what is the structure of debate, etc. And tomorrow you're going to have mocks, so that I'm going to basically give you a few motions and topics, and then you will tell me what arguments or what points would you make in your speech if this was the topic, right? And then you know that the qualifiers are going to be on 5th August online, and then semifinals and finals are going to be 14th August offline. I think this is clear. Just reiterating it once again, that your rounds are going to happen from 3 to 8:30, which means that by 3 p.m. you should be there in the Zoom call, provided the link that we're going to send to you very shortly. And then your round start at 3:30. Because you guys are juniors, you don't have any prep time per se, because all the motions are going to be given to you by the end of this training. So yes, two things that you will get by the end of this training. One, how WSDC functions as a debate. Second, what are your motions for round 1, 2, and 3? And third, who is your teammate? So we're going to take the attendance in call. So don't worry. Again, please do not annotate on the screen. I think it's very distracting for most of the people. Thank you.
Just once again, you folks, we know who's annotating. Don't do this. You don't want to discredit your name. You don't want to discredit your school that you represent. Okay. So don't do this. I don't want to cut that permission out. Carry on, okay?
All right. So I think we have already discussed as to what the theme is. Just to reiterate again in 2 lines, pop culture is basically movies, series, etc. But it's also something that impacts your life in several levels. You probably get educated by pop culture or movies that you watch. You probably get entertainment out of it. You probably get awareness about social issues, which is why the broad theme of tournament is going to be popular culture. However, the topics that you'll get, you'll understand as to how there are different sub-themes under that, right? So you will basically be able to appreciate the theme better in just a second, but this is just the theme in terms of what motions can be expected in your rounds. So having said that, we'll start with WSDC debate format and how WSDC functions. WSDC is World School Debating Championship, which is basically a debate format with 2 sides debating at once, which looks like, so the first thing that you need to know is that each team has 3 members. So what you're supposed to do is know your members, which you'll know by the end of this meeting, but also get in touch with each other so that you can make your speeches which are very cohesive to each other, which looks like you should know what your teammates are basically speaking, or you should also probably help them with their points, because at the end of the day, it is a team event. So you win or lose as a team. It's not an individual team. So even if you think that you're individually performing very good, you can't possibly qualify to out rounds if you don't have a very good team in terms of, like, let's say if you're not helping your if you're not helping your team per se, right? So just remember, this format particularly tests your ability to have the team sport like spirit, which means that try to have as good amount of cooperation between your team as possible. Having said that, since there are 3 members in team, the way how you go against each other is that in one room, you will have 2 teams, right? Which means that one team will be proposition and one team will be opposition, right? Which means that proposition is going to support the motion and opposition is going to oppose the motion. We will tell you as to in which round your proposition or which round your opposition. The only thing that you need to do is that in one round, you have one team going for the motion and one team going against the motion. But the next question that should come to your mind is how are the ways how these like how the structure of the team works and all of that. But I'll come to that in a bit. Just remember that the way how adjudicators are going to mark you is going to be on a scale of 67 to 83. 83 being a speech which basically changes your life and your opinions about something. So yes, it's difficult to achieve 83, but it's not something which is unrealistic or impossible. All right. Are there any questions specifically on this slide then? Raise your hand. No. Okay. Yashika?
Yes, ma'am.
What's your doubt?
My doubt is like, what's the theme on it?
What's your
Theme.
So as I said, your theme is popular culture, but your topic will be given by the end of the training. So please hang tight. Varis?
My question is that when you get in touch, so will it be like we'll be getting their mobile numbers or something?
That's a very good question. So by the end of today's class, I will basically give you, so you will basically know who your teammate is, and you'll probably identify each other on call. But on WhatsApp, you're supposed to basically ask, hey, let's say I'm Varis, my teammate is Meera. Can Meera contact me? And then you can get on contact. But if you don't get the contacts, we will help you reaching out to each other.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Trijal?
Yes, ma'am. I had a doubt relating the point in which we have to prepare a speech on both topics, opposing it and in the favor of that. What is that name, ma'am? I was not able to know it.
Yeah, that's a good question again, but I'll deal with that in the next couple of minutes because the next slides actually deal with that. But I'll deal with that in a bit.
Okay, ma'am.
Kashvi?
Yes, ma'am. I had it like if we already know 2 or 3 people in this meeting, so can we team up with them?
No, so we have already made the teams based on your preferences that you've mentioned already to us in the Google Forms, which is why we'll show you who your teammates are. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Ratnesh?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I wanted to ask that you said that we have to come at 3 p.m. on the Zoom call. So at first I want to say our school finishes at 4 o'clock and I come from bus, so approximately 4:40 I reach home. So what about that?
So
You
I
have
think
to
the
cater to
schedule is
that,
already out. Yeah.
Afin,
You'll have
can I
to
just suggest that you finish with the format training because I
Yeah.
don't want to get lost in logistics.
all of these are logistic. Yeah. Okay.
So all of you with individual things will come to it a little later, but I'm very clear that the timing of this tournament is not changing a second also, right? So Ratish, you'll have to sort of make that provision in your school with your parent. But having said that, Afrin, here is my suggestion that you take them through a bunch of the format topics that you have, and a lot of doubts will get solved.
Okay.
All of you who have an urgent doubt that can't wait, just hold up for 5-10 minutes and then let's come back to this.
All right. So I think this is clear. This is clear. So you have
Can I? Ma'am.
no questions as of now. We're not
No
really
Ma'am, I have a question.
related to WSDC this slide. We'll move forward. You can ask your question later. Okay. So I'll just sum up this slide. It is a debate format. You have 3 members in your speech. You work in collaboration. There is one team proposition, one team opposition. You support the motion or you oppose the motion. There are 2 prepared. I think there are all three prepared rounds for you because you are juniors and we've given you ample amount of time in order to prepare for all the 3 speeches. Let's start with what is the structure of your speeches. So since I said proposition, you have 3 speakers, right? So identify these speakers for now as speaker 1, speaker 2, and speaker 3. Similarly, on opposition, there are going to be 3 speakers, speaker 1, speaker 2, speaker 3. So who starts the debate is first speaker from proposition. Now, who decides as to who is going to be first speaker, second speaker, or third speaker is you yourself, right? So you are going to get on call with each other or probably on a group meeting or anything. So what you're supposed to do is ask each other which speech are you more comfortable in. So first speaker, second speaker, or third speaker, that is something that is supposed to be decided by you as a team, which you think is the best for the strength of your team, right? So this is how the structure of speeches is going to look like. The proposition first speaker is going to give a speech. After that, opposition first speaker is going to give a speech, followed by proposition second speaker, and then opposition second speaker, then proposition third speaker, and then opposition third speaker. Did you notice it was back and forth? So one team from proposition is going to come first, then opposition's first speaker, then one person from proposition again, then second person from opposition again, third person from proposition, and third person from opposition. I hope this is clear. It's back and forth. So it's basically like you're sending one person each from your team to represent your team one by one. So because you have decided as to who's going to represent first, second, and third, you know first speaker, second speaker, third speaker, right? Now, what is the time limit of your speech? So time limit for your speech is going to be 3 minutes. Okay. So this is what it looks like. So in practically in a debate room, this will look like this. Team one, proposition first speaker will come, will give their speech. After their speech is over, the second speaker, in order to so the first speaker from opposition will speak. But you know what? A lot of times you'll probably need some time to basically gather your thoughts, right? So between two speakers, there's going to be a gap of 15 seconds in order for you to actually recollect your thoughts and everything. So you're prepared properly. So yes, you'll get 15 seconds of gap between the speakers. So just remember this: team one, proposition speaker one. After that, 15 seconds of gap. Team two, opposition speaker one. After that, you'll have 15 seconds of gap. And then you'll have proposition speaker two, 15 seconds gap, opposition speaker two, then 15 seconds gap again, proposition speaker three, 15 seconds gap, and then opposition speaker three. This is how your flow will look like. Yes, the time limit is 3 minutes, but in case if you don't finish in 3 minutes, you'll have 15 seconds of grace period, okay? So because you're juniors, which means 4th to 6th, if you're in 4th standard, 5th standard, or 6th standard, your speech is going to be 3 minutes. And if you do not finish in 3 minutes, you can have 15 extra seconds to finish up and conclude your thoughts. But after 3 minutes 15 seconds, the judges are not going to listen to you. So in one round, you get either opposition or proposition. You don't get to speak both in one round, right? So let's say if in round one, your proposition, you're only going to support the speakers. Okay? So speaker one from your team also supports the motion, speaker two supports the motion, and speaker three also supports the motion. But if let's say if your proposition in round one, you'll be opposition in round two, which means that all three speakers of your team will oppose the motion. So you don't have reply speeches. I don't want to get into what reply speeches are, but just remember, the junior category does not have POI, so you can't ask each other questions as well during the debate. But lastly, so round one and round topic that is going to be given to you in a bit is going to be same, right? So what you will do is read your topic and prepare for both sides. You will make your speech for proposition and opposition as a team. And then the moment when you know that round one, your proposition and opposition, you'll read out the relevant speech. So let's say if your proposition is round one, I'm repeating it, you'll be opposition in round two. But if you're opposition in round one, you'll be proposition in round two. Regardless, you will use both speeches that you're using for round one and two topic, because it's same topic. Lastly, round three topic is going to be different. So you will basically prepare for both sides, but you will only know which side you're speaking for 1 hour before, right? So I will suggest that prepare for both sides for round three topic as well, because you'll have only 1 hour of prep time, which means that at that point of time, you should probably only revise your speech. So for example, round three topic is this house would ban smoking. I will basically prepare for why we should ban smoking and why we shouldn't ban smoking. But let's say I get to know that I'm actually proposition. So I'll basically take out my proposition speech and read it out, or I'll probably also revise it in the 1 hour prep time that is given to me. So yeah, this is what it looks like. In terms of speaker roles then, because everybody, we have 3 speakers, right? Which means that, and if they're all supporting the motion or if we're all opposing the motion, how can we make sure that our speeches are different from each other still, right? Because again, at the end of the day, you might think that your points are going to be a little similar. These are the roles that each speaker is supposed to actually fulfill. And please note that it is really important for you to fulfill these roles in order to get these scores, okay? Let's start with the first speaker. And this is for both, for even if you're a first speaker from proposition or first speaker from opposition. The first thing that first speaker is supposed to do is define key terms of the motion. For example, if it is ban smoking, what does the ban look like? What does the world look like in terms of smoking? Do people smoke? Why do people smoke, etc.? So you're basically defining as to what the topic is. So it's just general introduction, right? So if you think a word in the motion is kind of difficult to understand for people, try to explain it in your speech as first speaker. The second thing that you would do is mention 4 arguments. So let's say you will basically list out the 4 arguments and you'll only talk about the 2 arguments. So how do you actually talk about the 2 arguments? So here's what it's going to look like. You're going to say that my team is going to present 4 arguments to you today. Firstly, why smoking is bad for health. Second, why smoking is bad for your mental ability. Thirdly, why smoking is bad for environment, and fourthly, why smoking is bad for child labor. So you have 4 arguments, but as first speaker, you'll only explain 2 arguments, right? So you'll say that I'm going to explain the first 2 arguments, and my second speaker is going to explain the next 2 arguments, which is how both of you will have different content, and that is why you'll get better points, because your team is making collectively more points than your opponents, right? So what you're doing here is, first you're telling as to what your case split is, which means that, listen, I'm going to give you 4 arguments. This is what the heading of those 4 arguments look like. Secondly, you'll go ahead and explain the first 2 arguments. So how will you explain those 2 arguments? You'll give reasoning. So how is it true? Why is it true? But you'll also give examples, right? So just remember, your examples are probably going to be statistics, real life examples, or research material that exists online, right? Because it's all prepared motion. So I hope this is clear for first speaker. The second speaker. So since your team particularly is giving 4 arguments in total, what you're going to do is the second speaker is going to explain the rest 2 arguments, which looks like in this particular example that I gave you, it looks like, please do not annotate. Yeah, so it looks like, I'll tell you. So second speaker will basically explain reasoning for why it is bad for child labor and why it is bad for environment. So this is why the points of first speaker and second speaker is different, and this is why the second speaker will also get good marks. But the second speaker is also supposed to do something more. The second speaker is supposed to respond to the opponents, right? Why can the second speaker respond to the opponents? I'll show you the reason, right? Okay, can you see the second speaker of proposition has heard what the opposition has to say, which means that you know what the points of your opposition are. A debate is always a debate because you can actually respond to them. You're not going to respond to them by questions or answers. You're going to respond to them in your speech. So what you're going to do is that opposition said this, but we think this. So why what opposition said makes less sense, or why what opposition says has no logic in terms of, and why what you're saying makes more sense, is what you're supposed to do. So if you're opposing their points, for example, if opposition says that smoking is basically choice of individuals, you're supposed to say that no, it is not a choice of individuals, and then you're supposed to go ahead and explain that. But also, even if you're supposed to say that, let's say opposition says smoking is the choice of individuals, on proposition, you can respond to that in your speech by saying that, look, even if it is choice of individuals, this choice is particularly bad because it harms them in terms of like so many levels that we've already explained to you, which is why harm outweighs the choice argument that opposition is making, right? So this is how you're going to basically contradict whatever your opponents are saying. This is what responding means, right? Second speaker then is supposed to do 2 things, okay? 1, if your opponent has asked you any question within their speech, then respond to them. Second, explain the other 2 arguments that your first speaker mentioned is going to be explained by you. Third, you're supposed to respond or contradict the arguments made by your opposition. The third speaker then is the one who basically clears the entire mess in the debate, right? Because there are so many points, so many responses, so many questions, so many answers that are being made till now, right? So the third speaker is going to respond to the opponents, and they're also going to go ahead and prove why your team basically wins this entire debate. Third speaker is the last representative of your team, which is why the third speaker is going to do 1, summarize all of your arguments, because there are 4 arguments. The speaker is going to tell you as to why your arguments make more sense, but also collectively why your arguments has more benefits than the harms that are present in opposition side. So you're basically going to prove to the judge as to why you win the debate. I just want to quickly go back to the slide. So this is, let's say, third speaker. So no annotating, no.
Folks, you understand, dear Samsung, if I throw you out of the call, then you will never be able to join back again. Not now, not for qualifiers. That's why we don't remove children, and I don't like to restrict freedom, right? We are a company that encourages point of view, but you have to learn how to use it responsibly, right? So I'm going to allow you to unmute yourself in 2 minutes. Please listen to ma'am. We'll do a quick exercise while explaining this, right?
Okay.
Don't annotate. You want to play?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And please don't speak out of turn for now. Afi, let's finish the point and then we'll allow them to speak.
So which speaker can respond to who? Okay. Speaker 1 can respond to speaker 1 of opposition can respond to speaker 1 of proposition. Speaker 2 of proposition can respond to speaker 1 of opposition. Speaker 2 of opposition can respond to this person and this person. So you basically can respond to anyone on your opposite side. Speaker 3 of proposition can respond to speaker 2 of opposition and opposition speaker 1. Similarly, speaker 3 of opposition is going to be able to respond to all 3 speakers on opposition. So you can respond to whoever you have heard speaking from the other team. That's the TLDR of this. Okay. Responding means you're contradicting their points, because when you contradict their points, judges feel that, oh, this point can be contradicted, which means that this is a weak point, right? So you'll try to make first very strong point for your side, but you're supposed to prove as to why opponent's points are basically less influential and all of that, persuasive. I think this is it in terms of what the training for WSDC looks like. The only last thing that you need to know is how are you marked in the debate.
Once again, Afrin, before you go there, I'd like to take a pause.
Yes.
Because a lot of the students are also new debaters. So let's just take a pause. What I'm going to do is I'm going to allow you to come one by one with your doubts. You can stop sharing the screen for a second, Afrin. Let's just hear what they have to say. Just stop sharing your screen. So all of you, what we will do is I'm going to call upon folks to answer their questions or ask their questions. As I answer them, and if you have the same doubt, please don't keep your hand up, then you can put it down. Does that work for everyone? Yeah? Okay. So do have your cameras on. We'd like to see you also. Aradhya, go ahead. What's your doubt, please? And be quick about it. Aradhya, are you going to ask a doubt or is your hand just up? She's trying to unmute herself. Arohi, go ahead. Put your hand down, please. Are you not able to unmute yourself? 1 second. Sorry, my bad. Okay. Aradhya, please go ahead. Are you able to unmute?
Ma'am, I don't understand the point system.
Ma'am, ma'am, I was
All of you,
disconnected in the middle room. Ma'am, can you make me join there again?
Again, we just try to go to the word room on your own. After just try to help him. Aradhya, I'll come to the point system. Let me just hear some questions. Arohi, what's your question?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, 2 teams will have same topics, right?
2 teams will have the same topic, but they have the different sides. One team always
Ma'am,
speaks more.
so like suppose my team can decide that we have to be against or like.
No. We will define them. I'll answer them. Okay, let me go quick faster. So we will tell you that Arohi, this is your topic. For the first round, you're going for the motion. And if you go for the motion in the first time, round 1, then in the second round, you automatically go against the motion for the same topic. Right?
Okay, ma'am.
So,
Ma'am, so the topic will be same for 3 rounds.
For the first 2 rounds. For
Okay,
the
ma'am.
first 2 rounds. For the third round, I will give you a new topic, but I'll give you an easy topic and I will give you 1 hour to prepare.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, is that okay? So everybody please understand this. We'll go slowly once again. We are going to give you the topic today. So you will have the topic. You will by default prepare for the motion and against the motion. But will you first say for or first say against? I will tell you which one are you doing in round 1, which one are you doing in round 2, because the system automatically assigns it. For the third round, we will give you a new topic, but with that, we'll give you 1 more hour to prepare. Okay? But that will be a quick topic. Like a topic will be like, should zoos be banned? It's an easy topic. You'll be intuitively be able to do it and research in there and there. Karthik, go ahead and ask your question.
Ma'am, like yesterday, I was not there in the class because of some problem in my house. Ma'am, yesterday what we did please tell.
Oh, so this is not a forum to ask that. We'll share the recording with you. Anybody who missed yesterday's sessions, do not worry about it. We will recirculate the recordings. Okay, so all of you who got your don't speak out of turn, please. I don't appreciate it. Thank you. So Karthik, put your hand down. Moira, go ahead.
Ma'am, I had a doubt.
On WSDC debate?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Ma'am, please explain the 6783 one.
I'll come to that. I saw the doubt. That's a point system, and I just told another person. I'll come to that. Moira, what's your doubt?
I have 2 doubts. That will we get a team numbers, team 1 and team 2 like that?
Yeah, all of you by end of the day today, and I'm going to say this once. I don't want to hear any other question on teams again. We are going to give you, please wait, don't speak out of turn again. We are going to give you your team number. We are going to give you your teammates and how to introduce yourself, right? So we will do that after the call. Right now, I'm very focused on saying that you must understand how to debate and how you will be judged, because that's going to make or break, right? So nothing else from the team right now. Please don't speak out of turn. I will call upon the students I want to hear from. Please allow me that.
Ma'am, I have my second question.
Yeah.
Ma'am, if we're selected on the final day, so ma'am, we have to like perform with our teams on that day, or we
Yeah,
would be
you
individually?
continue as a team. You do not continue as individuals. Okay. Okay.
Ma'am,
Pallavi,
but
go ahead. Mine, I can't take a follow-up question on that. Put it on the chat if you're restless.
Okay, ma'am.
Pallavi, go. Okay, Pallavi is not taking the chance.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I
My
have this side.
question was whether or not are our teams going to get shuffled? Or
No,
we
they
can-
won't. Once you become a team, then you become a team for 5th qualifier. You become the same team if you continue to 14th also, no? Because the team chemistry matters. You
So
get better.
you will not change our teams for the qualifiers?
No. We won't change your teams, and we will not change your teams after qualifiers to finale also. Okay. Lakshmi, go ahead.
Good evening, ma'am.
Mhm.
Ma'am, can you please tell ma'am, ma'am, can you please tell the teams and ma'am the topics?
I just told you I will not take a team question. We are going to release the teams later in the day, and we will tell you topics if you all finish and you're comfortable with the format. I want to hear questions only about what Afreen ma'am has taught you so far, because I'm going to do a quiz then. Okay. So teams and what is the topic of the debate is what we want to tell you next. But we want to make sure that you all understand what has got covered so far. Abhay, go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Abhay, go ahead.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, like, ma'am, about the will we get the topic of one team will say that, for example, we are against smoking, that it should be banned, and one team will say that it should be banned. We are in favor. It should
Yeah.
be banned.
So topic remains the same for all of you in the whole category. All of you will have the same
Ma'am,
topic.
I have a doubt.
No, please don't speak out of turn. Wait up. So all of you will have the same topic, which Afreen ma'am wants to tell you quickly about for any clarification. In round 1, you will go for the motion. Round 2, you will go against the motion, which automatically means that some of you will go first round against the motion. Some of you will go again for the motion, right? So it will just switch dynamically. So when you get the topic today, please prepare a 3-minute speech for the motion and against the motion. When you get the topic today, discuss with your team members once we release them that do you want to be first speaker, second speaker, third speaker. That's what Afreen ma'am was telling you.
And ma'am, when is the final date? Like,
No discussion further. Right now, I want all hands down. Please put up your hand only if you have doubt on what has been taught so far. Right?
ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So all of you put down your hands. Otherwise, we'll waste our time. I want to tell you more about the topic, right? So all of you who have not asked your question, put your questions on the chat, because in parallel, we'll keep answering it as well. I'll just take 2 more questions. Varis, go ahead.
Ma'am.
Myra, 1 second. Don't speak out of turn. Varis, go ahead.
I have 2 questions. First of all, my question is that like when we are speaking, there's 3 minutes per speaker or 3 minutes for the whole team?
No, it's per speaker. Per speaker. And if I were you, I am also smart enough to calculate that 3 minutes normally means 1 minute, 1 second per word, which means 180 words. So Varis, when you prepare, you're preparing for 3 minutes for your own self, which is 180 words to a 200 word speech. Okay, your entire team will end up preparing for 9 minutes because you're a team of 3. Does that help?
Yes, ma'am. And ma'am, I was also asking if our team like team 3 opposition side is saying something, and I'm in the proposition side, and I disagree with that.
So we are not allowing for rebuttal, Varis, but what happens is that, for example, imagine if you were the second speaker in your team You must have heard the speech of the opposing team.
Yes, ma'am. The
Might
first.
say, hey, listen, I have also done research, I disagree with them. Then you can politely say, I disagree with the opponent's point, and the reason I disagree is so and so. Right?
Thank
Got
you.
it? Okay. All of you don't fool around in the chat group. It's not conducive. Myra, please go ahead. You've been patiently waiting.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, what if I am the second speaker and my opponent is saying something else, and I have to argue it, or I'll have to speak my own lines?
See, you are speaking your own speech only. If you're speaking after the opponent, your own speech, within that speech, you can sort of address, as we heard Anjali say this, I disagree with her.
So,
But you're not speaking out of turn and butting in. You're not allowed to do that. You are given 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes. So when your turn comes, if you heard something that the opponent said, then you can comment on it.
So, ma'am, one team will get 1 round for saying all the answers, or there will be 1 round for
one, Myra. In round 1, you will speak once for 3 minutes. Is that clear?
Okay, ma'am. So there are total 9 rounds. In 1 round, one speaker will speak. In second round, the opposite team will speak.
I'm just going to, Afi, can you just share that sequence of the speaker? I'll just share that once more, Myra, because it might clarify for a lot of students as well. Afi, if you can just share the slide of the flow of the debate. Aap log dhyan se suno. No, not this one, the earlier one.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Earlier one. Just 1 second, please. All of you hold on. So, Myra, here is when I'm explaining it to you. You got proposition means for the motion. Opposition means against the motion. Okay, that's clear to all of you. So you all should sit back and say, here, listen, am I going to be the first speaker, second speaker, third speaker? And what Afreen ma'am was telling you is the first speaker has not heard any speech. He's the person who's making the debate for the first time. Okay, so the responsibility on the first speaker is not to think about what the other one will say, because he's going to set the context, define what he understood from the motion, and give the arguments, right? So after the for speaker number 1, then your against speaker number 1 speaks. Then after the against is spoken, the for speaker, proposition speaker number 2 speaks, and then opposition speaker number 2. So if Myra is opposition speaker number 2, she just heard proposition speaker 1 also and proposition speaker 2 also. And Myra might say, ki, oh, she said this point, but I know that this is not the right point. I have a point against it. So you can sort of say, as we heard speaker number 1 in proposition, I disagree because of this reason. So you can make that comment, right? Because you've heard them. You've not heard the third speakers.
We even have to answer the proposition speakers, and we even have to say our speech also.
Yeah, correct. And I'll come to that again. That's a very good question. No, Bhavya, don't be butting in like this, please, Bhavya. Hold on. So
we can prepare it, or we can make it from a then and there.
Yeah, all of you can keep please putting on your chat if you're very restless. Myra, the way to do it. And all of you, please listen very carefully. Okay, I'm telling you with a lot of experience of the junior most category, because it's my favorite category. Please, all of you can mute. Firstly, all of you have the ability to self-discipline. Myra, you can't be doing the research in the middle of the debate, which means that when you prepare your speech, you should anticipate. Hum anticipate karte hain na, ki we want to go down and play. Now, what will mama say? Mama will say, aapne homework nahi kara. Aapne apne clothes theek se nahi rakhe. Right? You've not tidied up your room. So you anticipate ki my mother might say that you can't go down to play because you've not finished your homework. You didn't have your glass of milk and you did not clean up your room. So we anticipate ki mother will do that. So मैं पहले prepare कर लेती हूँ कि mama, actually no, there's too much homework. So half I finished, half I will do once I come back from playing. Got it, Myra? So similarly, in a debate, you can anticipate कि इस topic पे मेरी opposing team क्या बोलने वाली है. But आप middle of the debate में बैठ के research नहीं कर सकते. It's very difficult to do. Got it?
Excuse me, ma'am.
I will speak already as we are going to speak.
Myra, your audio is not working, so I'll just take another question. Just put your follow-up on the chat now. Okay? Yeah, Alina.
Ma'am, can you take my
Excuse me,
All of you pause now. Don't speak out of turn. Okay, we've got approximately 21 hands up. You all are capable of putting your doubts on the chat also. So do that. Let me ask for some doubts, please. Alana, go ahead.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, like, what do you mean by 4 arguments to first speaker and to second speaker?
I'll just come to that. Bhavya, go ahead.
Ma'am, is there any group made?
And we are not discussing that, Bhavya. Pause. Keep your doubts on the format right now, please. The group will not be made by me for your team. Once we release a team, then you can make a group between your own team. Karthike, go ahead.
Ma'am, there are 2 more students from my class. So, ma'am, can we 3 make a team?
No, I will release the teams.
Okay, ma'am.
We gave you the option to select teammates much earlier. Now the teams have been locked by us. So we will release the teams after the call. Okay. Sukhman, go ahead, please. Quickly, I'm just going to take 2-3 doubts. Otherwise, please just read the chat and put it in the chat. Sukhman, go ahead.
Ma'am, I had 2 doubts. Ma'am, my first doubt was that supposingly the speaker number 2 of proposition cannot answer the question of the speaker number 2 of the opposition. So, ma'am, can the speaker number 3 tell him an idea or an answer so that he can?
So when I work with my team, that's a very good question, Sukhman. I'm so glad you're thinking. So, you know, what happens is you will realize that when you have your own team member, you will have your own WhatsApp group, or you will probably have a Word document to talk to each other, right? So now I'm speaker number 2. I heard something that the opposition speaker number 2 said, and I want my speaker number 3 to answer it. You can put it on the WhatsApp group, or you can directly add it to his speech and say, "Yaar, ye wala point is very good. You must address it," because it will give us extra point because you are directly rebutting or you're answering what the opposing team has said. Yes, highly valued. Got it, Supan? So it's a very good question. The way you operate as a team is very important. So आप WhatsApp group पे कर रहे हो या Word document पे कर रहे हो, like I explained to Myra, पहले से anticipate कर लो, because all of you on the same topic will do both the rounds. So आपको हम chance देंगे to think for also, for against also. So you already know from one round कि अच्छा मुझे उसमें भी एक बहुत अच्छा point मिला था, मैं इसमें include कर लेता हूँ अपने round में, right? Okay, I'm going to take one more question. Please keep putting your questions in the chat.
Ma'am, can I ask a question?
Excuse
No, Ratnesh, I've asked you some questions, so hold on, please. Yashika, go ahead, please.
Yes, ma'am. And my question is that, like, if you're not having that much knowledge about that topic, what will you do in that case?
But Yashika, we are going to tell you the topic on first. You have 4 days to prepare.
Okay, ma'am.
So get the knowledge, do the research. That's why we are releasing it early, right? So that you have good time. So don't ask too many questions now, because I want to make sure that you focus the questions on the topic we will release. Is that okay for all of you? Otherwise, can you please put it on your chat? If you have put your questions on the chat, put down your hand. And no, we are not doing POIs. I can sort of see the questions that you're asking. We are not doing point of information for all the experienced debaters, right? So
sorry to interrupt.
Gurmeer, you should be on the other group, by the way. The middle category group is on the breakout room. If you can move there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all the middle category. If you guys have joined late, please go to the other room which says middle category. Gurmeer,
I'd still like to ask you, Afrin ma'am has just sent this message that you should debate your own side. If you present points of your opponents, then you're likely to lose the round.
Gurmeer, this is not the place to ask. We've got 4th to 6th graders here, right? It may confuse them. I've just given you a pop-up. Just move to the middle category room. Nitiksha will answer. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, Nishil, quickly. What's your question? What's the time to be asking questions? We can answer the questions.
Are we supposed to speak 4 arguments and explain 2 of them in 3 minutes?
Yeah, I'm coming to that. I thought we will go to the speaker slide once more. So just hold on. Speaker roles, I'll just come to. Anishka, quickly question. Navya, question.
Ma'am,
Sorry,
mock
Anishka, just go first.
Ma'am, in the mock test tomorrow, are we going to have it based on the topic you give today only?
No, we will demonstrate a mock to you. We'll demonstrate. So don't worry about preparing for it. You should prepare for the topic we give you. But seeing a good mock debate helps you get a lot of clarity. Yeah, Navya, quickly.
Ma'am, do we have to introduce ourselves before putting our points and arguments?
it's eating into your speech time. I don't want to know that Navya belongs to so and so school. You are the prime minister, or you are speaker number 1 for the motion, right? Just stick to that. Just quick 1, 5, 6 words. Briti, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. The doubt was that, like, if in the opposition, the speaker 1 has said, and the speaker 2 is not prepared, so can they take some time for that? Like,
no, so I'll tell you what, the way to think about it, see, all of you are going to prepare for the 3-minute speech for the motion and against the motion, right? What Afreen ma'am was saying is that if you have the presence to sort of say, acha isne ye point bola tha, but I have also done research to know ye galat hai, then you can comment on it. But you don't need to prepare in the middle of the speech. You will anyways on 5th come prepared with your speeches. Got it?
yes, ma'am.
आप वैसे भी वो 3 मिनट की स्पीच जो कि 180 to 200 words होती है, the reason I stress upon it is because typically we say one word in 1 second. You don't want to go like Rajdhani Express where the judge cannot hear you, so don't go faster. You don't want to go very slow where everybody is wondering कि connectivity issue है क्या, right? So that's why I'm stressing that 1 word per second पे आप practice करो mirror के सामने और अपनी speech ready करके रखो. Got it?
And ma'am, can we also read the speech when we would be speaking?
Yes, you can read out of your document, but the point is the person who will make eye contact with the judge and the teams will win more points. So imagine now if I were to do this, right? I can just see that Briti is reading off her screen. Versus Briti, if she had practiced in front of the mirror, then she would have known कि अच्छा मैं ये points बोलने वाली हूँ. She'll sound more confident and she will be able to look at me, right? Because manner के भी points मिलते हैं. So you don't want to say ऐसे ना कि मैं ऐसे पढ़ रही हूँ कि पूरा ही पढ़ रही हूँ. When you do a speech in school also, you can underline the keywords. कि अच्छा my first argument is going to be about Mama, please let me go down to play because physical education is important for health. So I know I'm going to make the first point about physical education, right? So
Okay,
just
ma'am.
practice. Okay, just me, go ahead.
Ma'am, can we speak in pointers? Like, or we have to speak a whole speech of 3 minutes?
You will speak for 3 minutes in one go, but you can always say, my first point is so and so, my second point is so and so, right? Alina, don't speak out of turn again, okay? Just me, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, my first doubt is that I did not understand what is pop culture. And
Oh,
ma'am,
don't worry about it. We are just introducing the topic to you. You focus on the topic research now.
yes, ma'am. And ma'am, my second doubt is, ma'am, once we read it out from a paper, ma'am, like we don't remember some points, so can we read it out of paper?
That's what I'm saying, that if you read it out of paper now, it's very distracting for you to go like this, because you're reading on the screen. I want to make sure that you've read, you've written your speech, you've revised it so that you sound confident, right?
Yes.
We like teachers who are confidently talking to us. Now we don't like a teacher who says, now paragraph number 2. We're like, right? So Kashmi, go ahead.
Ma'am, what if the opponent team has prepared the same points as our team? So what will we do in that case?
Normally, the opponent team will prepare on a different side. So if you are speaking for the motion, then they are likely to go against the motion. But if it's contradictory on the same points, like I might say, I want to go down to play because physical health is important. And you might want to say, you shouldn't go down to play because pollution is in the air. It's good, but give good examples on it. Right? So that's fine. Vardhan, go ahead.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, in this way, aren't we just doing both turncoat and debate the same thing? If you're
No, it's not. See, in turncoat, because you are a unique case, Vardhan, so we'll address it separately, but briefly, in turncoat, in 3 minutes, you're doing both the sides. But
Yes,
in a debate, it's changing from round 1 to round 2. In turncoat, the round 1, round 2 topic itself changes.
okay.
Right? So I understand where your head is, but stick to the format. Okay, so can I now request, you guys are very enthusiastic. We completely love that. Should we take more doubts, Afreen, or should I ask them to put it all on chat? What's your suggestion, Afreen?
I think let them put this in chat.
Yeah,
we'll
can you
now-
please put it on the chat? Don't repeat when you ask a question on the chat because it confuses us. We will answer all questions. Okay, don't worry about it. I'll
Ma'am.
just take 2-3 more, Afrin, and I'll just all of you put it on the chat. It'll also get
Ma'am?
answered.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
I can't make out who's speaking. Go ahead,
Ma'am,
please. Bani
Myra
sir.
this side.
Okay, Myra, just wait up. I've already answered your question. Bani
Uh,
Simar.
Yes,
ahead.
ma'am. Ma'am, you can just call me Bani for short.
Okay.
I had a question about the topics. So basically, the topics pop culture, like what exactly can we get?
That's not the topic, it's the theme.
Okay.
Let's just forget the theme. We're coming to the topics in a minute.
One more question.
Excuse me, ma'am.
About like, will we have a rebuttal?
No, you're not rebutting. You can rebut the points you heard in your own speech.
In your own speech, right?
In your own speech, not this thing, right? Okay.
Thank you.
Lohit, yours is the last question. Go ahead. Rest of you, please put it on the chat. Be nice. Yeah, Lohit.
Ma'am, it will be the same, right? Like the topics will be same for round 1 and 2. And we'll
Lohit,
change
if you're
for
in the
round
middle
3.
category, go to the breakout room middle, please. Yeah, it will be the same for both the rounds, but you're in the wrong group. Go to the breakout room which says.
Ma'am, I am not able to join it.
Okay, it will be the same across. I'll just send the topics to you later then.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay, Mitra, yeah, I couldn't make out who it was. Mitra, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. So I have one doubt. So there'll be 3 rounds in the WSDC, right? So the third round, the topic will be given on the spot, and there'll be 1 half prep time. And for the rest of the two rounds, the topic will be released now. So the both of the topics will be same or different topics.
It will be the same, but the size will change.
Rounds. You'll get topics for all rounds today.
I'm hungry.
Got it. Be on mute. So am I hungry? So be on mute. Okay, all of you put the top questions in the chat. They Afri, I just want no more ma'ams. No more ma'ams.
Can I answer
No, Inaya. I said no. Afrin, put it on the chat, Inaya. Afrin, can you just move to the next slide? I just want to speak to them about the speaker roles. Guys, this is very important. You are going to get your teams in a few hours. There's so many requests that we are just rebalancing the teams. Okay. If you have given a partner preference, we will take that into consideration. If you haven't, we will make the team for you. Now, what's the first thing that you have to do when you get your teams is to say, what do I feel like doing? Do I want to be the first speaker? Do I want to be the second speaker who has to think on the spot? Do I want to be the third speaker who has a larger responsibility of listening and summarizing? Decide that when you become your team member. So say Afreen, me, and Devika ma'am always say, let's decide which speaker number I want to do, right? And for that, it's important to understand what is your role, right? We all hear 3-minute speeches and then we feel very bad when the students lose marks on saying they didn't understand their role. So don't lose marks on that. First speaker is going to define, should zoos be banned? I can define a zoo for mammals. I can define a zoo for birds. I can define a zoo for aquatic animals. As a person who's debating, it's for me to define. So when you get a motion or a topic, it's called define the key terms. What does ban mean? Ban in the off season, ban in the on season. Got it? So defining the motion, mentioning 4 arguments. Dear adjudicator, my team is going to present 4 motions to you today. Let me tell you what they are going to be, and let me tell you in detail 2 motions. That was one of the questions you guys asked, right? So there are 4 things that my team thinks. We think that the zoos should be banned because, you know, it just humiliates the animals. It takes them away from their natural environment. They look so unhappy in the cages. And anyways, we have virtual recognition technology to show children the animals. I give you 4 arguments. Now let me go into the first one as to why I think it humiliates the animals. So I mentioned 4 arguments and I went into the details of 2 with reason and example. Is that clear to everyone now? So that's the first speaker responsibility. That was a doubt that you had. Second speaker comes in, and what is the second speaker is that he's heard the first speaker from the other side. And that's a person's also prepared for both sides. If you feel confident, then you can respond to say, But I completely disagree with Anjali on what she says. I don't think this is about humiliating the animal at all. So you can make that, because this is not like firing out your speech. A debate is an interaction, right? So you want to interact with your other team, use humor, enjoy it. This is not a competition. It is something that you're doing to build your skills. Enjoy it. You all are so young and debating. I feel jealous, right? We started much later. So enjoy the interaction with your opposing team, okay? Explain the rest of the two arguments. And if you can, respond to the opponent's argument because you've done some research and said, actually, this humiliation is an invalid point, then you can use it. Otherwise, you will not prepare on the spot. You will prepare with your speeches already written down. Is that clear to everyone? Good. All right. The third speaker has the onus of saying, listen, we heard 4 arguments from my team. And by the way, we heard 2 very invalid arguments from the opposing team. So he's summarizing in a way what his team has said. He's saying things to support the first 2 speakers and telling the judge, let me tell you why we win the debate, right? Stand up for your team. You're the guy who's leading from the back, pushing them along, right? So you are giving your arguments, but you're opposing any of the claims that they may have made. I want you to remember, you have to make sure that you have fun doing this. So enjoy researching, because the more prepared you are, the more fun you will have. Is that clear to everyone? We want to see big smiling faces who are enjoying the debate. That's the most important thing. We want to remember that. We learn the best when we are having fun. Okay, this is fun. Pop culture is fun. Isn't Barbie and Oppenheimer fun? Right? That is what is influencing us. The songs that we hear are influencing us, and that's the theme of your debate. With that, Afreen, can you please show me the slide on the topic and we can discuss that?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, we will please hold on. Afreen, just let's go into the motion before we come to the rubric, please.
Okay. The motion for round 1 is this house regrets the rising popularity of sci-fi cinema. Examples of sci-fi cinema could be in Inception. It could be I think it can also be Transformers. So all of these movies where you think a lot of science has been discussed, but also it's science plus fiction. So it's scientific, but also fiction. It's also fiction. So what this house regrets rising popularity of scientific fiction cinema means is that you basically think that there are harms of rising popularity of such kind of movies. But on opposition, you will say there is no harm in the rising popularity of such kinds of movies. They're rather good, etc. So on proposition, why our sci-fi movies shouldn't essentially be popularized as much as they are. But on opposition, why sci-fi movies aren't necessarily that bad, and it's okay for them actually getting that amount of popularity.
Excuse me, ma'am.
THR is this house.
Yeah, I mean, Afreen, please just, when you circulate it, just please full form it. This house regrets, okay? Afreen ma'am has put it on the chat also. Regrets normally, naturally, this is for all of you to understand, changes the motion. In the sense, this house regrets the rising popularity of sci-fi. Is the motion term clear to everyone? Is there any doubt on that?
Ma'am, this is the topic, right?
Yeah, this is the topic that you're preparing.
I didn't understand the meaning of sci-fi.
Science fiction?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
Science fiction movie, let me just see. Interstellar. I'm just trying to think of a kiddie science fiction movie. Give me some examples, some of you. Can you think
Star
of
Wars.
Star Wars, of course.
Matrix.
Matrix.
Yes.
Matrix.
Ma'am, Avengers.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy. You guys are good for mute. All of you go on mute.
Jurassic Park is also one of
Ma'am, Setu. Ma'am,
Avatar.
Avengers also.
I think it's very easy for actually research on
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay, listen, I can sense the excitement on the motion. Please mute yourself, because there's a very important thing we want to tell you. We want to tell you how the judges will judge you. Okay, so science fiction, I think we've got some examples. Otherwise, we have our friend called Google. So just say science fiction, sci-fi means what, right? But the trick over here is, please be careful. It's a regret motion, which means that if I'm for the motion, what will happen, Afreen ma'am?
You'll basically tell the harms of rising popularity. But if you're against, you'll see the benefits of rising popularity.
Can you please make a note, all of you, in your notebooks if you have? Otherwise, I'm so glad this is getting recorded. This house regrets the rising popularity of sci-fi cinema. If you are speaking for the motion, what are we doing, Afreen? We are basically not happy with the rising popularity. Okay? We are not happy.
Notice that it's round 1 and round 2 motion. So you're supposed to prepare for both sides either ways. So you're supposed to prepare for harms and benefits either ways. Just remember, it's the same motion for round 1 and round 2. I'll now tell you the round 3 motion.
Yeah, I'll come to that. So is everybody clear? All of you, please understand, you are going to prepare for the motion and against the motion also. I'm telling you again.
What is motion term?
Oh, motion means topic. Sorry.
Ma'am, if we are for the topic, it will be not happy. We are not happy about it.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Ma'am, I don't understand if the proposition goes first or the opposition goes first.
Proposition. We haven't told you, Aradhya. We haven't told you. We will tell you on 4.
Okay, ma'am.
No, but normally inside a debate, always for the motion goes first. But will Aradhya's team do for the motion or against the motion? We'll tell you on 4.
Okay, ma'am.
We will release those schedules. Okay, so I think everybody is completely comfortable on the motion. It's a fun motion, actually, if you think about it, right? It's a fun motion, right? Do you guys agree? Disagree? Give me a thumbs up, virtual thumbs up.
Ma'am, so ma'am, this is our topic, THR, the rising popularity. On this topic, we have to.
Ma'am, I didn't know the topic.
This is the topic. This house regrets the rising popularity of science fiction cinemas. Afreen ma'am, before you release the deck, this is how I wanted to read it again. This
Ma'am, the opposition team. The opposition team has to tell the bad things about sci-fi movies or the good things about sci-fi movies.
Good things about sci-fi movies on opposition, bad things about sci-fi movies on proposition.
What is the topic? It is THR.
THR means this house regrets. You only regret something when you
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah,
we have to. Both team have to. Ma'am, both team have to discuss the same thing: benefit and loss.
In different rounds, you will anyways go for the motion once and then against the motion.
Ma'am, but how will be the debate then?
Ma'am, is this turnout happening now?
Yeah, no, turn code is just going to start in another 5 minutes. Afreen, can you just go to the schedule for qualifiers once?
Ma'am,
once
then
again,
how will be the debate?
Akshay, once again. Ho. Once again, guys, don't speak.
I have a doubt.
No,
Okay, you'll have to mute yourself, otherwise I will mute you.
इसी में है सब last के
Okay. Go to the schedule slide one. So you're mute.
Ma'am, in the first round, we'll have to go not the motion or for the motion.
He will tell you.
Afreen, can you please show me the schedule slide, please? 1 second. Thank you. All of you, please focus, including the turncoat students who've come in now to the Zoom room.
Ma'am, can you
No,
Nobody unmutes. Nobody unmutes. I'll mute you now.
Please, just all of you focus and no annotation on my screen. Okay. All of you, please understand this very clearly. This is 5th August schedule. The first half of the day, we will do turncoat. Okay. And the second half of the day, from 3 p.m. onwards, we will do debate. Okay. Which means that you're coming to, yes, we will send you all of this. We are coming into the room at 3 o'clock. From 3:30 to 4:30, you are doing round 1. If in round 1, I say team number Alina, you are going to go for the motion, it automatically means from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, Alina will go against the motion. Is that clear now to everyone? This is how you're not going for and against in the same debate. You're going for and against in different rounds. Every round is nearly 1 hour, right? 3:30 to 4:30. All of you are doing 3-minute speeches. Then I will give you a break from 6 to 6:30 to rest. 6:30 to 7:30, I'm going to give you the motion for the third round. And I will leave you free for 1 hour. From 7:30 to 8:30, you will have the round 3. Yeah.
Ma'am, I need to go somewhere. I have another class.
That's fine, but
Please.
I don't. Yeah, please don't disturb the group on that. Just leave quietly.
Okay.
Afrin, can you please come to the judging rubric, please? I just
Before that,
want
I'll share the round 3 motion.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Now, know
Okay,
your
all
round
of you, please listen to the third round motion as well. Afrin ma'am is being kind and sharing it automatically. All
Ma'am, I have
ready?
a doubt, please.
Please hold on, Pranav. Listen to the motion first. Put your doubts on the chat. You got 13 hands up. Put it on the chat. All of you, I won't unmute you for doubt clearing. Okay, round 3 motion or topic is this house supports the narrative that art must be produced for art's sake. So, Afrin, please go ahead.
So what it means is that art is only or like made for the purpose of beauty, not for any other purpose. Now, this any other purpose could look like religion, politics, social movements, education, etc. So art is just a thing of beauty, something that people should appreciate just because it looks nice, rather than art basically used in order to basically like let's say propagate religion, propagate political movements, etc. Art is only for appreciating beauty. So what they're saying is art is just for beauty on proposition. On opposition, you're saying no, art can be literally for anything. So it's very easy for you to research about it. So when you just Google about art for the sake of art, you will know basically a lot of things about it. So if I tell you more than that, I think I'll basically give you arguments. So just
Yes.
on proposition narrative is that art must be produced for art.
And this is the topic for third round.
Third
Yeah.
round, yes.
So,
Why are you giving it now? It's supposed to be impromptu, right?
Sakit, actually, we've got a lot of new first-time debaters in this tournament. So, yeah.
And 4th to 6th students are actually very, very small to prepare impromptu.
That's okay. That's okay. They all are the same age category. Yeah. So, guys, now I want you to please absorb. After what I would suggest is you do a quick voice note on the group also. It's just easier for them later.
Ma'am, I hope this is not turncoat.
This is not turn. We're starting turncoat. We're just wrapping up this.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
please, ma'am, these two topics which you have given is of 5th August.
सरदार की गोली होगी आपके पास?
Okay, all of you put your doubts on the chat, please. All of you put your doubts on the chat. Put it on the chat.
Excuse ma'am, when will be the teams made up?
By the end of the day, we will just share the team names with you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
You have some time. Afrin, can you just show us the critical slide? All the turncoat students who have joined in, please hold on. I just want to make sure you all understand one thing. Akshara, please mute yourself. Okay. I just want to make sure that you all understand what the judges are looking for, right? Okay. Afrin, over to you.
So there are 3 M's. One is matter. So it's basically the content that you're using. Is it relevant to the motion given? Is it relevant to your side? Are you actually using good examples? Do you have actual good sufficient reasoning? Or are you just throwing off points? You're not supposed to throw points. You're supposed to explain them as well. The second thing is manner. So even though you're reading your speech, you should still maintain an eye contact with the judges so that the judges feel engaged as well. But secondly, you should probably also have certain voice modulation. It looks like when you're basically emphasizing on the main argument, you're supposed to make a different voice tone or emphasize it on better. But secondly, you're also supposed to have good speaker body language and also gestures. So all of it is going to be considered. So even though you're supposed to read it, that doesn't mean that you're continuously going to read it and you're not making any eye contact. Neither are you making sure that your mannerism is good. It's also going to be considered. Last is method, which means you're supposed to basically have a good structure of your speech. So it looks like, is speaker one actually giving definitions? Is he actually giving 4 arguments, the headings of it? Is he actually explaining it well? Is he just explaining it one by one? Or is it basically confusing between points? So you're supposed to have a very clear structure that the judges can understand, and your voice or your wording should also be very clear to be understood. But lastly, it also means, are you actually engaging with your opponents? Are you responding to them in your speech? Are you contradicting them in your speech? And whether your points are effectively elaborated. So all of it is going to be seen in manner, matter, and method. Remember, all of them are equally important. So all contains 30 marks each, which is why you should basically focus on everything. Just because you have good mannerism and you talk, you're a very good public speaker, doesn't mean that you can basically present any argument and you can win. You'll also have to work on what arguments you're running. You have proper research or not. And actually, at the end of the day, do you have something that judges can understand? So this is going to be your marking rubric.
Yeah, I'm just going to take a few questions that I got on the group. So hold on. Thank you for putting all your questions on the group. We'll just show you the round 3 topic again. Okay, it's not format, it's topic, Alankrita. And before that, I want to make sure that you all please understand that all of this is for 5th of August, right? So these motions are coming on from 5th of August. This is the motion for round 3. Afrin, if you can just answer it once. Just explain it one last time to them. Otherwise, we can just put a explanation on the group itself. That also works well.
So art is basically anything. It could be painting, it could be songs, it could be movies, it could be literature, right? So when movies, art, literature is produced, is it only for entertainment? Is it only for beauty and perceiving something which is, let's say, artistic? When you see something, you're like, oh, it's very beautiful, right? Without even considering as to what the meaning of the art is. So on proposition, you're saying art must only be produced for the sake of art. So just because it is art, it's basically for, let's say, enjoyment, for happiness, for it to be perceived as an art which is beautiful. So just the aesthetics of it on proposition. But on opposition, you'll say, listen, art is not just about that. Art could probably be used in religion, politics, social movements, awareness, education, etc. Which means that art is not just by the way of aesthetics. It's also, let's say, about things like awareness and other things that art can basically do in terms of spreading messages. I hope this is clear now.
Yeah, Lakshmi, stop texting on the chat, please. If it's bothering you, you can exit the call and listen to the recording later. Don't text on these chats like this. Second thing I want to say is this: few of you are asking, you must understand that on 5th of August, all of you are playing qualifiers. Okay, so 14th August motions will not get released right now. Only the 5th August motions are getting released, which means that we are giving you 4 days to prepare for it. Allow us to now release your teams in some time. When we release your teams, either you are from the same school, so you know each other and you can start preparing, or you are not from the same team, then we will tell you how to introduce each other, right? But till then, you just start your research any which way. You don't need a team member to do research. You can start your research immediately, right? All of you, I think what is working well is that you put the questions on the chat. Yes, Alina, the 5th of August is online, right? We will not show you the schedule again. You can see the PDF little later in the day, later in the day, the recording as well as this whole deck that we've discussed will get circulated, Nandini. So don't worry about it. Amira, don't worry about it. We are just going to share this with you shortly. I can't see any other questions. I just want to understand what is this child asking. Yuvraj, I'm not able to understand your question. Do we have the option to support or disagree with the argument? No. In one round, you have to go for the motion, and the second round, you have to go against. So you don't have an option. You will be anyways debating on both the sides, Yuvraj. Is that clear to you? Is Yuvraj there? Hello, Yuvraj. Are you not able to unmute? Okay, sorry. Yuvraj, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, got it. So आप दोनों side करोगे any which way. So it's not an option. You will anyways prepare for the motion and against the motion. Guys, please don't waste time. Start.
And ma'am, in round 3, we are.
Round 3 में हम आपको बताएंगे. That's a good question, Yuvraj. Round 3 में I will tell you that you are team number so and so, and I will tell you at 6:30. I will tell you before. When I give you that break, ना उससे पहले मैं आपको बता दूंगी. I'll tell you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Jasmeet.
Ma'am, what does L art mean?
It's a basically a quote of French. That quote itself has been explained in the topic, Jasmeet. The art means the art must be produced for art's sake. मतलब what is he saying? He's saying basically हमें art करना चाहिए because we like art, or art can be used by politicians to make a point. Sometimes you see campaigns, people make nice posters to make a point, to say literature fest there. So should we do only art for art's sake, or art is a form of expressing other important messages for the society? That's how simple the motion is, right? So think about it. It's a good thing to think about. Okay, yeah,
ma'am.
yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. It's urgent
Excuse
for
me,
round
ma'am.
three.
Yeah,
It's urgent for me, ma'am.
No, Bhavya, you have to learn to
Excuse
do
me, ma'am.
Myra.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Ma'am.
If you continue to do excuse me, we'll not be able to entertain any questions. So please keep raising
Yeah,
your hand.
put your questions on the
Ma'am,
chat.
can I-
Myra, Bhavya,
Ma'am,
put your questions on the chat.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, can I say first?
No, I'm not taking any more questions like this. Please put it on the chat. And don't do a direct chat to me. Put it on the group, please, because it gets missed then. We are going to circulate these pages to you. You can listen to the recording once more. Don't worry, you will not miss out any topic. I'll just circulate this pitch again. Put your questions in the chat. I'm giving you 30 seconds to do that. Quickly put it. I want to see you guys type. Okay, all of you, please, all the debate students, put your questions in the chat. I'm giving you 30 seconds. All the turncoat students who joined in, we are just going to start with you. I know you've been waiting patiently. So give me 1 second. Okay. For third round, Bhavya, we will tell you whether you are proposition or opposition in some time. Right? Yes, Gitanjali, I've answered it twice. You will end up doing turncoat in the morning and debate in the evening. Lakshmi, we will circulate the teams in a while. This has been answered 2-3 times in the morning. Through, we are just starting turncoat. Okay, with that, can I please request all the debate students to kindly leave the room? We are anyways meeting up tomorrow at 6 o'clock. So if you have doubts now with respect to your topics, now with respect to as you start doing the research, please join that up again. Right? Yes, we will share this PDF with you in some time. Please go and rest, Naisha. Take care. Okay, all of you, all the debate students, you can leave the room now. Afrin, if you can just stop sharing the screen. We've done with the judging. We've done with the topics. All the debate students, you've been very patient. So you can now please grab some energy. The topics have been released for you. We'll just put it on the group as well. Please allow us 10, 15, 20 minutes. Bye-bye. With the turncoat students who joined us new. Right? So turncoat students, are you here and ready? All teammates will get released. Please watch the WhatsApp group. Be disciplined about it. We will put the teammates over there. I'm just waiting for all the debate students to leave. Tomorrow we will do the mock debate. You must watch it. But today I want you to now think about the topic and start your preparation. It doesn't matter if you don't know a team member, because any which way you will do base research first. Then when you know your team members, then you will say, okay, should I do first, second? Oh, you are experienced, you could go third. Okay. Okay. Abhav, what is your question, dear? Abhav, go ahead, unmute and ask your question. 1 second. Abhav, go ahead. Myra, go ahead.
Ma'am, my question is that, ma'am, in the round 1 and round 2, ma'am, the topic will be sci-fi.
It will be the same topic. For round 1, round 2 is the same topic. You will prepare. In one round, you'll do a 4.
No, I'm asking that the topic will be sci-fi or something else.
No, it will not be something else. It's the topic we showed you.
Ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, Myra.
Ma'am, the kids who qualified round 1 will go to round 2, or they'll be
No, you
selected?
all are doing all the 3 rounds. There is no, we are not eliminating you from one round to another. आप तीनों round खेलोगे.
So, ma'am, we'll have to prepare the topic for all 3 rounds.
Yes. So for first 2 rounds ka topic same hai. So you're preparing both the sides, and the third topic we will tell you the side in some time.
Ma'am, what is the topic for round 2?
Same as round 1.
Excuse me, ma'am.
1 second, Zara. Myra, the topic is the same for round 1, round 2, but एक बार आप for the motion कर रहे हो, एक बार आप against कर रहे हो. 6 minutes. Got it?
Excuse me, ma'am. Round 1 and round 2 will be like against
and
for.
Yeah, once against, one for.
Ma'am, proposition against
Excuse me, ma'am.
or in the favor of.
So proposition means for and opposition means against.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, so if we prepare for proposition, we will have to go for.
Yes, Aradhya. Perfect. Thank God.
Ma'am, in the third round, we have to prepare for both. Excuse me, ma'am.
Just once again, Dhruv. Gitanjali, go ahead.
Ma'am, in third round, we have to prepare for both.
No, don't prepare.
Excuse me,
Start your
ma'am.
research. Afrin, just make a note on the third round. So you will not prepare for both. You research for both. We'll tell you the side in some time. Yeah, Dhruv, go ahead.
Ma'am, I was asking that when we will start the turn code.
I'm trying to start. I just want to make sure the debate students leave. Now we are down to 46. All debate students, if you still have doubts, put it in the chat. I'm watching all the questions. I will make sure they're answered for you. Right? Nisha,
Right. In round 3, we'll have to be like in first round we have motion and non-motion. Then in the third round we'll be opposite or the with the topic.
Excuse me, ma'am.
One second. Inayat, one second. So for the third round, I will tell you the side. Myra, wait up. Okay. Okay. All WSDC, bye-bye. Okay, turn code. Thank you so much for your patience. I think a lot of you are joining us for the first time. Please, everybody put your hands down. All turn code students, how many of you are joining us for the first time today? Or for the first time, who's joining this call from turn code? Just put up your hands. Everybody on mute, please. Put up your hand, no? The virtual hand. Yeah, okay. So Inayat, you're joining us for the first time. Munata?
Yes, ma'am.
And some of you are joining us from yesterday. You were there yesterday as well. Some of you switch on your videos. Why can't I see you all? We are a small group now. So, okay, let's do one thing. Afreen ma'am, if you're okay, we can do a quick refresher on time code because half of the doubts that the yesterday students have will vanish. I'm assuming everybody is here from the junior category, which is 4 to 6. If you're a 7th to 9th grader, ideally you should be in the other breakout room. Okay, so that's something that I'm stressing because I can see some senior kids as well. All right, Afreen ma'am, are you there? Ready to go?
Yes, so before I actually show them anything, I would basically ask you all to write in the chat box the question that I'm going to ask you. So you're supposed to answer all the relevant questions that I'm going to ask you with respect to turn code, okay? Anjali ma'am, do we have all members from turn code here or only juniors?
Yeah, you can actually, most of them are junior. I can see some senior kids as well. So senior kids, if we have anybody middle, like Kaina, I can make out you're a middle student. Just carry on, Afrin, it's fine. Only the time is different, right? Let them be here. It's fine. So middle students also be here. What we'll do is we'll do the chat. Obviously, the session is going on for junior kids over here. The middle category kids were doing a session in the breakout room, which I think is nearly finished. So it's okay, Afrin, just carry on with them. We'll just.
All right, so this is going to be for the purpose of turn code. First question, you're only supposed to type on the chat box, okay? First question, have we released the topics for turn code? Do you know your topics for turn code for all 3 rounds? Let's see what's the answer in the chat box. Okay. Inayat says no. Inayat, the answer is yes. We have released all the topics for turn code. You should technically by now start preparing.
We have new students joining in as well.
Okay, sure. So do you want me to
yeah,
show?
let's do a quick refresher and we can do that. Yeah, so okay, so Inayat and Advik, we'll just show you the topic once again. Next question, Afri.
All right, the next question is, what is the time limit for turn code?
For juniors.
For junior category. Okay, I don't have a lot of responses. 3 minutes. Somebody says 4 minutes.
Ritesh, are you from the middle or are you from the
junior Ritesh?
I'm in junior. I'm actually in 9th class.
Time limit?
No. Junior is 4th to 6th.
Yes.
Middle is 7th to 9th grade. Ritesh, so you will be middle.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, what's the time limit for junior? I know, Dimple, I thought you guys are looking senior. So for the juniors who is defined as 4th to 6th, the time limit for turn code is 3 minutes. Okay.
For people who are from 7th to 9th grade, your time limit is 4 minutes. For people who are from 10th to 12th grade, your time limit is 6 minutes. So according to your categories, your time limit is 3, 4, and 6 minutes respectively. Specifically juniors, your time limit is 3 minutes. My question is to juniors next. What if you can't conclude in 3 minutes? What should you do? In the chat box. What if you can't conclude in 3 minutes? Wind up, okay. Correct. Okay. So you will get 15 seconds extra in order to wind up. So the combination of all answers is correct. Yes. So can you actually go again more than 3 minutes, 15 seconds? Okay. The answer is no, you can actually not go beyond 3 minutes, 15 seconds. The next question is, and this again for junior category, how do you basically structure your speech? So I want proper structure of your speech. And you're supposed to write one by one. So what's the first thing that you should do? Intro, yes. The first thing that you need to do is introduction to your topic. How long should your introduction be? Yes, Vian, that's the correct answer. 30 seconds of introduction. Correct. The next question is, what's the second thing that you're supposed to do? Are you supposed to speak for the motion or are you supposed to speak against the motion? Yes, the answer is you're supposed to speak for the motion for 1 minute. The proper answer has already been told by Yuvan. Introduction 30 seconds, proposition 1 minute, opposition 1 minute, conclusion 30 seconds. Now next question is going to be really tricky, okay? So listen to me carefully. Can I actually start with opposition first and then go proposition? So can I start with opposition argument first and then go proposition? The answer is strictly no. You're supposed to start supporting the motion first and then oppose the motion. Wonderful. The next question I have is, can I take my own stance in the conclusion? So can I give my own opinion in conclusion, or is it necessary to actually have it a balance of opinions?
ये चल रहा है क्वेश्चन मैम क्वेश्चंस पूछ रही हैं about your understanding.
So what, can you give your own opinion? No, you can't give your own opinion. You're supposed to balance it out. So you're supposed to balance the arguments on proposition and opposition. Very good. So when I'm talking opposition, can I contradict my own points in proposition? Somebody says yes a lot of times. Who is this? Trisha? So and that's a very tricky question. I'm going to ask it again.
Yeah,
can
Trisha,
you?
Trisha, don't have too much fun because then it disturbs everybody else.
Yeah.
We
So
are happy.
can you contradict your own points that you made in proposition or for speech in the against speech? The answer is actually yes. You can contradict your own points while you're going against. The next question is, how long should your transition be? Should it be interesting and creative, or should I just be like, hey, I have talked for the motion, now I'll talk against the motion? Should it be interesting, and how long should it be? So how long can you actually say that now I'm going for opposition? Yes, interesting, blend the line. Max to max 10 seconds. You can probably use 2 lines to actually show that you're switching, but it should also be clear that you're switching. Okay, can I have, so should I have equal number of arguments both sides, or should I have unequal number of arguments for proposition and opposition? So when I'm supporting it, let's say I have 4 arguments, but I can't actually have exactly equal arguments on opposition. I have only 3. What should I do? You should make equal amount of arguments in both sides. That's the correct answer. That's really good. I'm happy that most of you all are actually prepared. I'm really happy that that's true. Now, the next question I have is, how many of y'all have started preparing for turn 4? Did you all start writing your speeches?
We have Anahat saying something.
Somebody says, Miss, I'm done with the speeches also.
Yeah, but I'm just concerned with Anahat's response. Anahat, ideally, it should be equal. Okay?
Yes, ideally, yes, it should be equal.
Anahat, did you get it? It's a small group. You can please unmute and talk as well. Switch on your cameras. Anahat, did you understand? It should be equal. You lose marks. Yeah, Naman, we are coming. Afrin, if you could just show the. Okay, so I'm just wondering what the senior debate, earlier debater, turncoat students had doubts on. They're so clear. Can you please, Ryan? Don't capitalize. I feel so hurt seeing capital. Can you just type nicely, not scream at us? Okay, can you just show the motions once, Afrin?
Okay.
Thank you, Ryan. Ryan.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead, Dimple.
Hi, I'm Priya. Sifat.
We can't hear you very clearly.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm Sifat.
Hello.
Nice. Yeah, Sifat.
Ma'am, actually the question, I'm in the middle one. Like out of all the three topics, do we have to write like the affirmative and the negative side, or we can choose one?
So in each topic, you're supposed to do both. So I think I've already shared the structure. Please go through the training. But the idea is that, let's say your topic is about pop culture should be a means of relaxation. So my first round, I'll first give introduction, then I'll speak for the motion for 1 minute. I mean, for you, I think it's 1 minute, 30 seconds. And then 1 minute, 30 seconds against the motion and then conclusion. So in one speech, you're basically doing both.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
And,
Excuse me, ma'am. Question.
Just 1 second. So all the middle category students, the structure is the same, only the time will change, right? So juniors have it for 3 minutes, for the middle it's 4 minutes, which means
So,
that
ma'am, the questions that you were just sharing, these are questions or our topics are different, right?
here there is topics. Topics. You can see the juniors written over there, right?
Excuse me. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, go ahead.
My apologies for joining the wrong breakout room. Well, ma'am, there are a few questions that I want to ask.
Go ahead.
I'm
Let's
from
just finish the middle ones, Afrin, so that they are faster. And then we
Yes,
can
ma'am. Ma'am, the first question is that, can we use the name of the mainstream celebrities, like for the first round? Like, for example, if I have to mention Donald Trump, can I do that? And like, is it for the motion, and can I do it against the motion also, like for and against for both? Can I use the same example, like just to adhere it?
Yes.
And the second question that I have is that, can we use any kind of general example?
Yes. If you think it helps you can.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, the last question is that, like, can we use some specific terms to address the judges and jury? Can I greet them before the intro or in between the intro? Is it necessary?
Yes, you can. You can. You can call them panel, you can call them jury, you can call them judges, anything is fine.
So like it's like 4 minutes for each round, right?
For middle, yeah.
Yes, for
middle. Yeah, for each round, for all the 3 rounds.
Yeah, all the rounds.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sure.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, Aruna's iPhone, go ahead. Go ahead, ask your question.
Can you send the topic like this PPT in the WhatsApp?
Yeah, we will send the PPT, we'll send the recording as well. Okay. Anybody else from the middle category who's here, who's got any doubts? Right, otherwise, Afrin, if you can just spend 1 second, if you have the structure written on a generic slide which applies to these guys as well. Only the timing will be different, so be careful on that because you're sitting in a junior training room. After just scroll up a little, 1 second. So otherwise, if the middle are done, Sifat, you can just adapt to what we are saying. Juniors, this is your speech one. Dhruv, why are you asking again? I'm not able to understand what you can. Speech should be learned. मतलब मैं कोई question नहीं समझ रहा हूँ.
Do you have to by heart the speech? So it's the answer is you don't need to word remember it. You can have reference sheets, but do not read it completely. That's going to tank your scores.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Dhruv, समझ में आया आपको? 1 second, Jaiveer. Dhruv, you understood?
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
Good. But don't keep typing again. No? I'll answer. Yeah, Nahat?
Ma'am, if we forget something, ma'am, then can we read it?
Yeah, you can. You can refer to it. Yeah, Jaiveer, go ahead.
Ma'am, why are there 2 turncoats, like 2 contexts? One context and like it's middle round 3, and then like Urdu poetry, and then the other one, the quest for one's own land.
Yeah, because you have context for the motion. For round 2 motion, you actually have a context. So for you to understand the motion properly, but the motion is what the motion is. The context to help you understand the motion. And for the round 3 motion also, you have a context slide so that you understand the round 3 motion itself.
What's the topic for the round?
Javir, I'll just come to you. You are in the middle
Show
category.
you to you again. Yes.
Javir,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yeah. But just wait up. Yeah, Gurukam. Gurukam.
Ma'am, I wanted to ask, as in the round one, the topic is popular culture, right? So the
No, topic is not popular culture. The theme is popular culture. The topic is what is being displayed on the slides. You have to prepare on the topic. Don't annotate, guys. Don't be doing this.
ma'am, so we have to about specific one. Ma'am, so we have to talk about specific one popular culture. What's the topic?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay, I think a lot of questions are on motion. Let me just give you a brief of what the motions are so that you are clear. But again, if you have no questions on motion, you can ask right now before I go into motion.
Ma'am,
Yes,
I
Gitanjali.
attended the class yesterday also. Ma'am, is there something new or we can leave?
No, it's only for people who have doubt from the like from yesterday's class. If you have doubt, then sure you can stay back. If you don't have any doubt, there's nothing new that we teach.
Ma'am, can we leave?
Yes.
Yeah, all people who are clear on turncoat don't have to be here. And any doubts that you have, please go ahead, keep typing. Otherwise, Afri, I suggest that you display the motions for juniors all rounds, and that's similarly for middle.
So round one motion is popular culture should be a means of escape and relaxation for junior category. Round two motion is this house regrets the representation of minorities where people of different community play their roles. Round three motion is this house regrets the glorification of suffering in music. Does like if any one of y'all want me to explain anything specifically, raise your hand if it is specifically to
excuse me, ma'am.
raise your hand strictly.
Sifat, just 1 second. Let us just finish with junior motions. Juniors, any doubts on your motions? They are very clear. Don't spend time here. Start preparing on it. Any doubts, juniors?
Ma'am, round one will be for the motion.
This is again, I think we've cleared it out multiple times. One round is going to be the structure of your speech that is given. You're in one speech within 3 minutes, you're supposed to support the motion, you're supposed to like be against the motion, and also conclude and introduce. So for the first 30 seconds, you'll introduce the topic. For 1 minute, you'll basically support the topic. For 1 minute, you'll oppose the topic, and then 30 seconds, you will conclude the topic.
Afrin, just come to the slide also that shows the structure, please. Just scroll up. Just 1 second. Yeah, okay. Can you see this? The person who asked the doubt, can you see? You are introducing, you are doing for the motion, you're doing against the motion, you're doing conclusion. Okay? And the same structure stays for the middle schoolers, except 1 minute, it becomes 1.5 minutes because your total speech time is 4 minutes. So it becomes 30 seconds, 1.5 minute for, 1.5 against, and 30 seconds conclusion, middle category. This is the turncoat speech structure for juniors. Is everybody clear on this? Because this is the most important. Yes, Dhruv, I can see that the motions have already been sent on the group. We will send it after the call. Yeah, go ahead. Nice.
Ma'am, I was asking, I was not clear about the conclusion of the speech.
Okay, let's go one by one. So Afrin, quick explanation on what must they do for introduction.
Yeah.
For and against, same number of argument is not a difficult one, and conclusion. Just a introduction. Okay, let's take an example.
So if the motion is, if the topic is this how to ban smoking, you'll give a brief introduction to the topic, which looks like if it is banning smoking, you'll tell about how many people actually smoke, what's the stance of people in the world, why do they smoke it, etc. Then you'll go ahead and give your arguments for the motion. So let's say if you're using 3 arguments for the motion, you'll also use 3 arguments against the motion. But between for the motion and against the motion, you're supposed to transition it in such a way that is basically very creative. For example, once you're done with giving your 3 arguments, you're going to say, just because smoking has these harms, I told you, doesn't mean that you have to ban it, because there are certain benefits of, let's say, not like certain harms of banning it in the first place. But in the conclusion of your speech, what it means is that you're supposed to balance your points. So you're supposed to balance point between for and against. So why at the end of the day, it's actually a mix of both. For example, yes, smoking has a lot of harms, but banning it would not essentially solve it, which looks like in order to probably solve the harms of smoking, we can basically have rehabilitation centers, awareness campaigns, etc., in order to educate people for why smoking is bad rather than banning it. Is that clear? So to take a neutral stance in the 30 seconds.
Sir, I was absent yesterday, so the topic is smoking.
I'm sorry, what?
So the topic is smoking.
Your topic is?
Ban smoking is the topic.
No. This is an example. This is just an example. Your topics are these.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, Inayat.
Ma'am, I actually had a doubt about.
Screenshot and put group so that there's no. Yeah, Anaya.
Ma'am, if you can explain about the topics.
Yes. So round one, junior topic means that you know how movies and like movies, series, cartoons, etc. are consumed because you get entertainment out of it. You basically feel relaxed because let's say after you have done your homework, after you come back from school, after you have come back from your work, you basically watch movies, right? You basically watch these shows in order to basically like forget all the kinds of like problems that you have in your life, just to get relaxation. So proposition, you're going to say that yes, we should use popular culture as a means of escape. However, on opposition, you're going to say that why we shouldn't use popular culture as a means of escape. So there are two things that you can do. Either you can say that, you know what, popular culture should not be the only means of escape and relaxation. There could be other means of relaxation and escapes. But the second thing that you can do is why popular culture specifically can also be used, let's say, for discussing about serious matters. For example, like social issues that are existing in the world, let's say corruption, let's say murder, let's say a lot of crimes that exist, right? So that doesn't necessarily, watching crimes and criminal movies don't necessarily give you relaxation, but it actually gives you education that yes, certain things can happen with you in the society. So that's what you're going to say on opposition. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. The round two motion then is this house regrets representation of minorities where people of different community play the roles. So have you seen Maricom? Maricom is a movie about like the female boxer in India who is from Northeast. However, the movie is something which the actor in the movie is Priyanka Chopra, who isn't from Northeast. So the first thing that you need to know is who are minorities. Minorities are underrepresented people from a particular place or country or in general in world. So Northeast people in India largely are underrepresented. So what we're regretting in proposition is that, you know what, whenever like it shouldn't be the case that if a movie is about, let's say, Northeast people, it should be that we should give the actors from Northeast the chance to represent it rather than, let's say, Priyanka Chopra, right? But on opposition, you're saying that no, I think it's okay for Priyanka Chopra to actually play that movie. It's just an example. You can basically use so many examples which show as to like which basically talk about a lot of minorities, but they're not represented by minorities per se. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Last motion is about how this house regrets glorification of suffering in music. So have you seen those music videos and music lyrics, which basically has a lot of like lyrics and like visuals of suffering, pain, and basically a lot of like a lot of sadness in general. But all of these like, songs basically glorified. They basically say that, yeah, I'm basically like I am basically going through it and that's okay, and you basically glorify it. So what you're regretting on side proposition is that we shouldn't actually have such kind of music. On opposition, you're saying, no, I think we can have such music. I think glorification of it is also okay. All right, that is the explanation to turncoat. Are there any more questions then? Javi,
so is it fine?
Yes.
Okay. So is it fine if the transition of the speech is done with body movements, or it is only possible with two-line statements?
I think that's a fair question. Yes, you can do it by body movements because we've had people literally turning around in order to say that yes, like this is the like we're changing it. So it's basically
I kind of get. Okay.
Yeah, there's another way of doing it. People actually turn their coats, so people remove their coats and then basically wear it opposite. So people can do it literally anything in order to, it can be creative, you can do anything.
Excuse me.
Yes.
And we have to choose one of the topics and then say.
So you have to prepare on all 3 topics. You have to speak for all 3 topics in the 3 rounds that are given to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can we bring posters or flashcards so that we can present it with our speech?
So a turncode is specifically and strictly a speech event. You can't actually use props. So no.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, do we have to use props?
No, you're not supposed to use props. Okay. Are there any other questions by anyone then?
Ma'am, we
yes.
can use flashcards for us, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Could you please discuss the 3 round topics for me?
Yes, I will do that. I think that's what I was coming to next. Cool.
Before that, juniors, I'm assuming it's quite clear. You guys were good on your quiz and after mandate, you can exit the call. We'll just spend a minute more with the middle category, please. If you still have any doubts, juniors, raise your hand, put it in the chat. I think we're good. I can just move to the middle.
Okay. Let's start with round 1. So the round 1 topic for middle category, which is 7th to 9th grade, is mainstream celebrities should either take a political stance in all situations or none. It looks like you're going to say on proposition that it's so let's say, who are these mainstream celebrities? They are basically literally anyone who you think are popular. So it doesn't necessarily have to be actors. It could also be sports person. It could also be influencers on social media. So everybody who you think have clout per se and have the ability to basically persuade people and convince people in some or the other way. So that's mainstream celebrities. But what is political stance? You see that in different countries and in general in different international relations, there are so many things that continue to happen. For example, religious issues, communal issues, for example, political protests, riots, etc. For example, let's say issues with minorities. So it could literally be anything, right? So should mainstream celebrities take a stance, political stance in all situations, or should they basically take a stance in none of the situations? So there are 2 interpretations of the motion. One is that on proposition, you say that, mainstream celebrities should either say about anything or they shouldn't say anything about anything, right? But on opposition, you're saying that, listen, you know what? Mainstream celebrities should have a choice, so they can basically take a stance on things that are basically affected, or things that they think are affected, that they are affected by. For example, if a female mainstream celebrity believes that a policy about females is something that is bad, it's probably something that is in interest for them, and they probably would want to talk about it rather than a policy which is about, let's say, a different community which she's not related to. So that's what you can see on opposition. But the second interpretation of the motion is that on proposition you take stance in all, and on opposition you take stance in none. So you can use either of the interpretations in order to make your speech. Okay, I hope there are no questions. Moving on to the second round. Second round is sensitive issues can be dealt with through ethical jokes in the culture of stand-up comedy. You know that there are so many Indian stand-up comedians who make fun of the issues that are existing in India. I could give you so many examples, but those examples are likely to help you in your case. But here's the thing about ethical jokes. Ethical jokes are jokes which are not too dark. So I hope you know about all of these dark jokes that exist in the world, right? So ethical jokes are not too dark, which are extremely offensive, but also let's say glorify things like pain, things like murder, things like negative things, right? But is it okay for stand-up comedians to make jokes on sensitive issues? Sensitive issues could literally be, again, similar to what political issues exist. So communal issues, let's say issues, let's say making fun about a particular community, making fun about discrimination of a particular community, making fun about patriarchal structure, all of that. So should comedians do that? Or if comedians should do that, why should they do it? On opposition, you would say why comedians should not do that. I hope this is clear. Are there any questions? No questions. Let's move to round 3 motion. So here's this one is the context slide, and this one is the motion. So context slide basically helps you in order to interpret the motion. So motion is again the one on the right side. The motion says the quest for one's own land must not be glorified in influential work of art. What quest of one's own land means is something that is always glorified in Urdu poetry, where Urdu poetry basically describes things like, you know what, a person should necessarily have a good relation with the land, and the land, like, and one should basically find as to which is necessarily their pure homeland. For example, if a person is born in India, they're likely to not feel as connected to India, and it shouldn't be basically expected from you to basically feel that it is your homeland. So you should, as a person, basically find out as to which exactly which land particularly is your homeland, and which land you're actually more connected to. So what you're saying in the motion is that we think that in like such influential work, which is basically likely to influence a lot of people, we shouldn't have things like, you know what, you should basically have a quest of what your own land is. So this is what the motion says for round 3. Are there any questions? I will basically assume that there are no questions and I'm basically going to stop sharing now. If you have any specific question with respect to turncoat, let me know.
Excuse me, ma'am. I have a question. So in this previous question, they're like how Urdu people should not talk about their homeland. So does it apply for every place? Like, should Kashmiri people also not talk about their homeland?
Here's the thing, right? I think the implication of this artwork or like this literature could also influence Kashmiri people, which could look like Kashmiri author writing about it. And yes, they shouldn't actually glorify it.
Yeah, go. I think what she's trying to ask is, I mean, I told her to ask you because I know she's confused. They are they find it a little funny and they find it a little strange. That what are you saying? I mean, what are we saying? That basically they can write anything they want to. I myself don't understand the topic 3. That a Kashmiri, a poet from Kashmir, or a poet from any other part.
Not about, listen, this is not about Kashmir.
That's what I'm saying. And the Urdu can be from any part of the country. A guy, because I'm from Punjab, we had Urdu papers. That is going in her mind. So what can you explain it to me so I can tell her clearer?
So here's the thing, right? Though like an example of Urdu poetry is just an example. You can also talk about different other languages that also talk about the similar thing. It could be a Tamil poetry. It could be, let's say, any poetry, let's say.
So it's basically
just to tell you an example.
His homeland.
Exactly.
I mean, all the people who are reading his poetry, reading the poet's poetry, will not be able to identify with Tamil Nadu if they haven't been to Tamil Nadu. Is that
they will, because I think you basically know which author it is, right?
So what is the exact topic? I mean, what does it mean? Because I myself am not getting it.
Okay. It means, so all of the all influential literature, which basically tries to tell you that, you know what, the purpose of your life is to find your own homeland, should not be glorified.
Okay. The quest of one's own land must not be glorified in influential works of art. But basically mean poetry?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you can basically play around and also talk about other forms of literature. It's all right.
So it's all writing, right? Authors. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I was a little confused, but for me it's like Urdu. So Urdu for me is like can be any part of the country also. Okay.
So Urdu is just an example. So a lot of Urdu poetry basically deals with that. It could be anything though.
It could be anything. Okay, because they were not here yesterday. She was not feeling well and he was out for after soccer party. I had to tell the truth to ma'am. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not live. So that's why they were a little confused when the juniors thing came up. I said, no, yours is just to be on the right track, because it's the first time I'm doing this for them. 30 seconds intro, 1.5 minutes for the motion, 1.5 minutes against the motion, and 30 seconds for conclusion. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 minutes. Thank you. So tomorrow, do they have to join you tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we're going to show them how you're supposed to do it. So I think
that'll be great. Because they were actually, I sent them the wrong things. So they're writing about the juniors today. And I find these topics are easier than junior topics. So,
oh, really?
So they were like, "Oh God, what a waste of time." I said, "No, it's a good waste of time. You kind of
Yeah.
spend some time."
You obviously brainstorm, you know how to write your speech.
Yeah. Because English comes naturally to them. I think they should just at least try this out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. You're Afi,
Yes.
and the other ma'am is
Anjali, ma'am.
Anjali, ma'am. Okay. Thank you both, and we shall see you tomorrow.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. We will basically end the meet now if now nobody has any questions. All right, that's it.